bad.
I know. A lot of people was telling me the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Make that drink, honey. I'm over here sipping on wine. She got that hard liquor over there.
Oh, so who's on vacation with her? Hold on.
She
It
on
looks like
vacation with her man. They
Mm-mm-mm.
chilling, child.
Oh, the vacation.
It's a vacation.
Oh, I'm jealous, homie. Who's vacation?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can hear her?
Mm.
I hear.
I
Okay.
can't hear her. I can hear you.
Oh, crap. That's the... Okay, so hold on.
Jalissa?
She can't hear you because I got
What?
headphones on.
Oh.
Hold on. We're testing it.
I'm gonna try to call in one more time.
I'm changing the mic. Hold on. Hello? You can hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm to my Tiger.
I hear her.
You can hear her? You can hear me too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she hears me.
You can
I
hear
hear her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna set you right there so you can hear each other.
I'm sorry about this rain because it's so loud.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, so let's get into it. We only got 30 minutes.
Your rap better anyway.
Huh?
Now we see your rap better anyway. You need to teach me how to tie it.
No, I don't know how to do this. I'm still learning.
You look good.
Think so? I just wrapped it until it stayed.
Yeah. Your hair looks so good. You look cute.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, it's cute.
Thank you.
That's what everybody does, Colin. We all rap that young things.
You wrap it until it stays.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I thought it was some technique because I seen a YouTube video
Mm.
on it. I was like, they really got YouTube videos on how you rap.
Only the African women do, boy. The rest of us, hell no. We just rap.
That it was different techniques. Doing this and doing all of that with it.
Yes.
I'm gonna learn these ways. I'm gonna learn.
No, girl, I gotta be from Sudan for that, girl.
Oh, I gotta be advanced, but it takes practice.
Wait, all Zoom calls are only 30 minutes?
No.
Or you have to, I don't know how to
Uh-uh.
say it.
You have to have a monthly plan.
Mm-mm. So,
I ain't got no job right now.
I didn't say advanced. I said from Sudan.
Oh.
From Africa. Them African women go that thing like it's nobody's business.
I know.
Yeah.
No. The rest of us, we just winging it.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep winging it. All right, so we basically starting all over, right?
That's fine. Okay.
You said no?
What do you guys do? Like, do it however. I don't know.
All right.
Welcome
back to another episode of So Problematic. This is your girl, Cece.
Okay.
And we have our beautiful guest, Miss Tiger. How are you?
Good, and you, honey?
Good. We hanging in there, basically. That's what I'll say. Hanging in there. It is Breast Cancer Month, and we want to keep the awareness alive for every month, but definitely for this month. So we brought our special guest on today to basically inform us and tell us her story and what the things that she did to survive and, you know, help other people as she still goes along. You help other people, you know. I'm sorry.
So tell Jalissa maybe when you're talking or someone else is talking, she might have to mute hers.
Because you hear her.
Because we hear it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we hear ourselves through her.
Jay.
Yeah.
So when we talking, unless you talk, maybe put your phone on mute because we hear your background and like the echo.
Okay.
So until you like make us a conversation or whatever, or ask a question. Yeah,
but talk, please. Like, don't just sit there.
Yeah. Don't just sit there.
Okay.
Okay. It's better now.
Oh no, I'm gonna talk.
We know you is. He's a talker. She be doing most of the talking, actually. She really does. All right. So I don't know how I'm gonna edit that, but anyways,
Leave it.
I know, right?
Leave,
I told you, I really don't care about editing
leave it.
or
Yeah.
editing at this point. All right. So let's start by um asking, when were you diagnosed? What age?
I was diagnosed at the age of 25 after being misdiagnosed at 24.
Okay. And you went in yourself to basically find out what was going on.
I went in myself after I used to sleep like this for some reason, and I felt a lump like in my left breast. But
Uh-huh.
I noticed at times like when it would get hit, it would hurt or what have you, and it didn't change much like with my cycle and everything.
Okay.
So I went into a breast center and they did an ultrasound and everything. Told me to come back in 6 months. I came back in 4. They told me it was too early. They sent me back, and then I came back in 6 months later. I mean, well, 2 months after that.
Oh wow, okay.
And
So I gotta ask,
yeah,
and it may sound funny, but for us small girls, I gotta speak for the small ones, you know.
I was a strong
What do we look
bud.
for? Because I don't have any, and do I just look for like maybe soreness or like if I feel something funny there, basically?
And that's the thing, especially with our age group,
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't have family history and with your age, you don't require a mammogram. So you really have to be like your own advocate and kind of know your body. So with me, like I said, I felt a lump. You're saying, your breast on a smaller size, which is good.
Yeah, I guess.
But a lot of things just to look out for is if you feel a lump that changes,
Okay.
or if you feel like it's getting bigger and smaller and things like that. But you also remember with our cycle, our breasts usually change. And
Yeah,
also after you have kids, if you have calcification of milk in your breast. So honestly, it's all about just watching it and just
watching it.
seeing, when something feels off.
That's true because you know when you're pregnant.
Yeah, you're women. We're women. We know when it feels off.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, because a lot of women, like, especially with our age group, I feel like we don't know what to look for in most cases, like unless, like you said, you felt something that was off, so you had questions about it. A lot of women our age probably just feel like, oh, it's nothing, it's just something, it'll go away. You know,
Right.
in our community, a lot of us do that. You
And
know,
that works to our detriment. Black women are least likely to get diagnosed with breast cancer,
mhm.
but more likely to die from it. We
Wow,
typically get diagnosed with what's called triple negative, or we catch it too late. And when you catch it too late, it's only so much you can do because it has a potential to spread and cause other issues.
well then that's my next question. At what stage were you diagnosed?
I was around like stage 1 because when I first caught it, it was, well, what they felt like it was precancerous tissue. But they told me in the first place that I went to that misdiagnosed me, they told me they were giving me a biopsy, and really they didn't. They did a needle aspiration. And a needle aspiration, for those that know, is basically a needle that goes into that specific area and they pull out cells and they test those cells. But with that, you can miss.
Oh,
So once I got a biopsy and an actual mammogram, that's when I got diagnosed. But for some women, that could be a little bit too late. Or most women that would have went to that first appointment and got turned around, now they're thinking, oh, it's nothing. I'm not even going to go back.
wow, that is true.
Yeah,
Wow, okay.
you have to be adamant about it. You have to remember the healthcare industry is a business.
Yeah, you're right,
With every
So
business,
how
a
did you
return.
feel?
Jalissa.
I'm sorry, I ain't gonna cut nobody off.
Uh-huh.
How did you feel getting diagnosed after you were misdiagnosed? Like, what was that first feeling, that emotion that you had, that right there, right in the beginning? Was it like, what the
To
hell?
be,
Are you serious?
girl, to be completely honest, I was pissed.
Wow.
I was pissed and I was disappointed because it's like I went in, I did what I felt like I was supposed to do,
Hmm.
and y'all dropped the ball on me because I was a number to you. So it was disappointing. And then I think you go through kind of every emotion. So it's like disappointment, and it's kind of fear, then it's kind of like you're pissed, and then it's like, well, why me? What the fuck did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, this must be some shitty karma, and you just kind of go through every emotion.
I can't even imagine. I mean, at that age, what were you planning for your life prior to finding out your diagnosis? Like, what were you going through at that time? College?
24. I'd already graduated college. I went to Florida State. I went to Aveda in Atlanta to get my cosmetology license. So I had literally just moved back to South Florida, got my apartment. I was working in a salon, and I was like, okay, this is, my time. Like, it's actually good until adulthood. Like, I'm done with the schooling and everything. So it's like, it puts a pause on like everything that you're doing. And, that mid 25 range is when you start seeing all your friends getting engaged, having kids, traveling and what have you. You feel like you're missing shit.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, because at that age, well, I had my child, but at that age, you feel like that's the beginning of your official
young adulthood, yeah.
So it's kind of like, I know it felt like maybe it was taken away from you because you had to deal with what you dealt with. And I want to know what the beginning of that process was. Like, once you got that diagnosis, like the beginning steps, doctor's appointments back to back. Like, what is that like?
They just kind of hit you with everything. Oh. So when I went to my first mammogram, before I could even like put my clothes back on, she pulls me into this office and like shows me my left breast versus my right breast. And the left breast looked like a galaxy, and the right breast just kind of looked stagnant. Oh. And so it's like after that, then it's like phone call after phone call. Okay, you have to get this scan, you have to get that scan, you have to go and get this done. And then they just kind of give you this cookie cutter regimen of, okay, you're going to do 6 rounds of chemo to hopefully shrink the tumor. And then you're going to get a mastectomy of just that breast, and then radiation. And you're like, okay, so what if I want to do, and the doctor that I had at the time, he had no bedside manner whatsoever. It's like he didn't even realize it was on the table. And he gave me this little bar graph, and it was like, okay, if you do the chemo, you might live this long. If you do the surgery, you might live this long. If you do this without this, you might not live until this point. And he kind of just said it, cut and dry.
Cut and dry.
And like, well, what if I don't want to do the chemo? Oh, then you're playing Russian roulette. What? So it's intimidating, because it's like a part of you wants to kind of like do your research and kind of do what feels right for you. Mm-hmm. But then another part of it is like, okay, I'm not a healthcare provider, so everyone else is scaring the shit out of you.
Wow. I mean, to even have a doctor like that, I probably, for one, would have cursed them out,
I filed a complaint.
But I mean, because I feel like, for one, it's a lot of information to take in, especially after getting diagnosed. It's a lot of information to take in. So with him being just cut and dry with you, it's more like, what if I have questions? And if you really think about it, somebody who's like that, you're afraid to ask certain questions because you just feel like,
Why of us actually question our doctor?
Exactly. And I feel like we're supposed to ask them questions and be comfortable. Y'all all up in our business. Y'all all should. Up here. I mean, I feel literally. Like, yeah. So I just feel like, I can't imagine you going through that. I mean, Jay, you had something to say? Because I heard you.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So with that, doctor, I know you changed him, but how soon did you change doctors? Was it like as soon as you heard him say all that, or did you give yourself time to digest and do your research?
Immediately. I sat on his table and I said, you know what, if you have a daughter or you have anyone in your life that is around my age or anywhere in the time frame of their life, think about them the next time you see somebody, because you won't see me again. And I went and filed a complaint.
Wow.
What advice would you give to a woman right now? If we go with the rest of your story, who just found out she had cancer, just found out she had breast cancer, what would be the advice you give her, like, at this point that would help her? You know, like when people say, I wish I knew this. So it's like, I wish I knew this moment. Like, say a young woman listening to it right now just got diagnosed to our podcast. And what would you be able to tell her right now, finding out that she just got diagnosed?
For one, I would tell her to go through her emotions and allow herself that, because a lot of people make you feel, I don't want to use the word guilty, but for lack of a better word, a lot of people will make you feel guilty for your emotions, but that's the point of them. Your emotions are supposed to be there, but you need to live out that emotion and then let it go and move on to the next one. So like when I said I was angry and I was pissed or I was disappointed, like I had to go through those emotions so that I can get rid of that one and move on to what the hell I needed to do. And also do your research. Doctors are people just like everybody else. In the same way that doctor misdiagnosed me, the next doctor could have made another mistake. So I can't go into it blindly just listening to what you guys are telling you to do without going home and doing my research and also checking your sources. Don't just Google and go with the first thing you see. Check your resources and go with your gut. We all have that intuition as women, and I think we give that advice more than we listen to it ourselves.
That's very true. I want to ask, how was your support system during all this process from the beginning to end? Like, did you lose friends? Did you lose certain people in your life, or did it bring people closer to you? You know?
Oh yeah. You lose a lot of people, especially when you, depending on the kind of person you are before. Like if you're that fun person, you're that, but remember I was 25, so when you're going through all of that, everything changed. You're not drinking the way you can't go out the way you were. You're not, now I have to find a different job to get insurance. So it's like everything kind of like the gears just kind of slow down or even stop. So and also you have a lot of people that can't deal with what you're going through. And just because it's your tragedy, it doesn't stop everybody else's shit. So, you know, when we all go through something, we all kind of internalize it and we're like, well, why didn't this person call me? Why didn't this person check on me? Why didn't this person do this? And I would have done this and that and the other. And like you really take that back and realize, okay, everyone's not me and they're not going to do the things that I would do. And it took for a friend of mine to come to me one day, and I was so upset with her because she was not there. And I was like, you know, if it was you, I would have been at every appointment. I would have did this, that, and the other. And she pulled me to someone and she was like, Tiger, I want to apologize because I didn't know how to be there. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to see you like that. And no one had explained it to me like that. So when she said that, I was like, I never would have thought about that. Yeah. And I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to be the same support system to others that people were to me. So when she said that, I kind of like took a step back and was like, you know, it's about me, but it's not.
Yeah.
Because everybody still got the other stuff going on too. So the people that weren't around when she told me that, it finally made me realize, like, okay, maybe you weren't there because you didn't need to be there. Maybe you would have been around and your energy wouldn't have been what I needed. Or you would have been saying things that made me be in a place that I need to be in. So you have to kind of just accept that everyone's role is what it should have been. Right. I might not have seen you physically, but you might have been somewhere praying. You might not have been in every hospital or doctor's appointment, but I don't know what happened in your life to make you not feel comfortable in that setting. So you can't fault people, and you just have to kind of ride the wave.
I agree, because I have a friend that basically just dealt with, you know, breast cancer, and I technically didn't know how to be there, but I felt like I knew how to be there enough to say, if you need to talk, I'm here. Or because I have a family, you know, like I have to tend to my thing as well. So for someone who is a friend of a person that is dealing with that, no, we don't know how to be there. But I feel like just saying I'm here for you, or call me if you need me, is that enough? You know, people like me probably have that question. Like, is that enough to say that? You know, like,
no, it's a good question, but the thing is like, you don't know what's enough. And honestly, when the feeling comes to you to do something, you'll move.
Yeah.
You'll move. So
I like that, because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we look at our friends like, how come they're not there?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know how to comfort you. Like for me, going through divorce.
Yeah.
Going
It's the
through
same
divorce,
thing.
going through divorce. It's like, I was like, some of my friends like, yo, they don't call me, they ain't check on me, they don't really care about me. And it was like, wait a minute, they don't know how to do that. They didn't think they would have to do that for me. So I actually understand, and that's important to know.
Yeah, it is.
It is. You really just have to meet people where they're at and be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's now, did you have kids while you were diagnosed? Like
No.
And that's another thing. And that's something, there's so much going on at the same time, because even when they introduced the thought of chemo to me, chemo puts you in menopause. And you have the chance of your cycle coming back or not. They never can really tell. So then they're throwing at you, do you want to freeze your eggs? Do you want to do this? Do you want to, who's paying for that?
That's a
so
whole
it's
yeah.
a lot.
Oh my
I didn't know
God.
that.
So yeah, I didn't really know that too deep into that, but did it also make you feel some type of way to know these things and like say possibly I can't have no children ever, or do I do
Heck, yeah.
you know? Because
Because
that's
one
something
of those
that
girls
can't
that
take
was,
away.
yeah, because I used to be like, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. And then when someone slap you with that, you're like, well, shit, I should have watched my mouth. Like, I'll put it out there and now look.
Yeah, you just told me that to put something in the universe, but you are right. You are right.
You got to watch your words. And granted, that's not every woman's situation, because your cycle can come back. And granted, I was so young that your body's able to kind of bounce back a little bit better.
Yeah.
But you got to also remember, I'm talking to, when I'm trying to like find mentors and other people to speak with, I'm finding ladies in their 40s and 50s that are married already, that already have kids.
Yeah.
So they were thinking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And you were so much younger and
right. And so even when you talk to them, you automatically get that, oh, you're so young. And you're like, come on, man.
That's another thing I want to ask. How tired were you of hearing that? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Because I found out that most of the time y'all don't want to hear that. Am I right? Am I right?
Absolutely 100,058% right.
I found out through one of my friend who has it. She didn't want to hear like the hugging and the that I'm so sorry to hear that stuff. Some people just want to be treated normally. You already going through something. You
And
just
you know what?
like you.
Exactly. And it goes back to when you asked me, did I lose friends and gain friends? And it was like, absolutely. But you know what? The people that I realized that I kept, they treated me the same way. If they would have cussed me out before cancer, they'll cuss me out during cancer.
Yeah.
But I needed that because everything else was so crazy. I needed that normalcy.
Wow.
Treat me like Tiger. Don't treat me like patient.
Yeah.
Everyone like you're like some cracked like piece of fine china that it might just fall apart again. So everyone kind of tiptoes around you. And if you know the personality of the person that you're dealing with, talk to that person, not the patient part.
Exactly. Jay, I heard you.
Gotcha. And I can sympathize with that because I can imagine that you guys are sick of it. Because it's like, okay, I'm sorry, it's not gonna fix my issue. So it's like, and that's so crazy because I was just telling my mom that with my divorce, like I'm sick of saying, I don't even tell people anymore. I'm just like, oh, I'm doing good, people are doing good. And she was like, why? I said, because I've grown sick, and I understand they mean well, but for me, it's like, here we go again. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh. Did you guys try everything? It's like, oh gosh, here we go. So I can
you know what
is what?
It's empty.
It is.
It doesn't have any value. It's like someone just like asking you like questions that like closed-ended questions. It only requires a yes or a no. You know what I mean? So it's like you're doing it out of habit. You're not doing it out of interest of how I'm feeling or what I'm going through.
Yeah,
exactly. That's
exactly
empty.
what it is.
I love that. Empty.
Yeah, that's what I don't do that. I can say that. Once I say it the first time, I'll say it the first time, But after that, I'm gonna treat you as normal as day because I feel like you still that person that I've met, that I've gotten to know, my close friend or family member. Like I'm not you not my patient at the end of the day. Like you not my patient. I know what you're dealing with and I sympathize for that. I show you
Exactly.
any, but I feel like at this point now, I
Yeah.
have to treat you as normal as possible. Like Jay,
You do, and you're gonna have questions. You're gonna be curious. Ask.
exactly.
Just
Don't give me
ask.
general,
Girl
don't give
doesn't.
me that general stuff.
Yes,
How are
but
you
people
today?
would
Are
be
you
Yeah.
so
okay?
shocked.
Come
They
on.
would be so shocked at my response when they be like, "Can I see?" Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Oh, did that hurt? Yes, ask me that shit. Like
And
that whole, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Do you really
Mhm.
want to know the answer?"
right. Yeah. But
Oh, the
Or you
baby
just wait.
will dab. The
Yeah,
baby will
walk
dab.
away.
I'm like, oh
mhm,
God, here we go again.
yeah. I'm telling you, that's one thing I just can't do because I feel like I sympathize for people already. Y'all don't need to hear that on a daily basis and every time we talk. Like,
No,
there's
because you'll
other
feel
things to
that,
talk about. You don't want to hear that no more.
and a genuine person will feel that you care more than you just say, "You okay? You okay?" Really, you're annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying.
I
It's
feel you.
very.
So let's talk about this hair, honey, because I know that you saved your hair, right? During your chemo. So how did that happen? How did that start?
Well, I had pushed off chemo for so long because, like I said, they initiated me doing it before my surgery. But when the doctor told me, hopefully it'll shrink your tumor, well, I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna cut me anyway, just go ahead and take them off. So I ended up doing a bilateral, which means I took them both off, and then I ended up doing chemo. And I only got talked into the chemo because I denied it and denied it. But they were like, you're so young, and we don't want it to come back, and this, that, and the other. So I had to come out of my selfish mode and realize, okay, it's not just me that kind of wants me around.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did the chemo, once again, I got back into my research and I found something called the cold caps. And it's something that they were using predominantly in other countries and not in America because I guess it's something, it was like a company where it's like one guy had like a patent on it, but it was basically a cap that you put on your head and you kind of interchange it like every 20 minutes before your chemo, during it, and hours after. And the idea behind it is it's so cold that it kind of freezes your follicle so that the chemo doesn't reach your follicle and make your hair fall out. So I actually did make it through 6 rounds of chemo with my hair, but it was such a thing in the center because no one had ever really done it. Like, and honestly, my doctor even kind of laughed, like, okay, you can try it, but have fun.
What? Wow. Okay. All right. I mean,
Remember, it's a business, so everything extra that you kind of want to do is an inconvenience to them.
but that's my question. Why is that not something that is saving everybody or an option for everyone? Like, I get it that this person probably has like, painted over there in another country or whatever, but knowing America always stealing stuff, right? Let's just throw that out.
Yeah, but I also want to know how they're going to get the money from it.
And it's expensive, I'm sure.
It is expensive. You have to have a certain amount, on your credit card, and you actually rent them. They won't sell them to you. So you rent them, and then you actually send them back when you're done.
What? What? Wait a minute. So you have to rent the caps.
I rented them and sent them back after my last came off.
So,
But they worked.
wow. Okay, so I want to know, like, after you did your
How,
research and
how
you
much was it?
go
I need
ahead,
to know.
Jay.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, I can't help it.
I know. Go ahead with your questions, child.
Just how much? How much was it? I gotta know. Okay, give us a ballpark figure. I didn't know how much it was. I didn't know.
She was
Honestly, I don't remember because there was some. Listen, when you go through chemo, you have something called chemo brain, and you forget a lot of shit. But I don't really remember the cost. I know it was pricey, and honestly, because there's other companies now, because I helped a lot of other women go through it with the caps and like kind of help them with it. So there's other companies now that they have a little more competition, the price isn't as bad, but I mean, it's doable, but not for everybody. I meet so many women that go that don't even have insurance.
I was gonna
So
say,
the last thing
insurance covered?
is it covered through insurance? No.
See?
No. Because a lot of people even thought it was vain. It's like, you're fighting for your life and you're worried about your hair. Yeah, I am.
And see, that's the thing. Like, that's because people didn't do their research like you did. Like, you really
they don't.
That's a research.
It's not about you either. Like, so if keeping my hair is important to me, who are you to tell me that it's not important? I had already lost my breast. I lost the salon that I was working in. Like, you're already losing so much. You're telling me that I'm gonna go through menopause and may not have kids. It's like you're losing so much. Anything that you can hold on to, it's mine.
Sure.
Like, yes, it's just my damn hair. Yeah, it might grow back, but it might not, or it might not be the same. And it's also, to me, a mental thing, because when you look a certain way and everyone starts to see it, it's one thing for you to tell everybody that you got cancer, but then for everyone to see it is a whole different ball game. And at the same time, I had just got dropped from my parents' insurance, so I had to go and get a 9-to-5 because a pre-existing condition, you can't just buy your insurance. So I had to go, and that's how I met you, CC. When I went to Teen Hawk, I only got that job because I needed insurance.
Yeah.
So it's like, now a new job, and now what? I'm supposed to start chemo. I started chemo maybe like my first or second month working there. Wow. So imagine starting a new job, and now your hair is starting to fall out as you're working there meeting new people.
Wow. I'm just like,
yeah, wow, indeed.
This is a lot. This is a lot to take in.
It's a lot.
I mean,
it is a
lot. To think I'm not going through what you went through. So for me, this isn't an everyday conversation. I don't know these things. For me, someone who doesn't know anything about this, I just look at it like, oh, I'm so sorry for you, or dang, you went through that. I'm not dealing with it.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I hear the general side, but you don't never hear the in-depth of what you had to really go through to be here with us today. Because it could have went to stage 4 or whatever the case may be. Like, you was misdiagnosed. You know what I'm saying? You took that and you could have just been like, I'm just gonna live my life now, not care about it. Oh, it's gonna go away eventually. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of women like that, they're like, oh, I never did the follow-up, and now they're telling me, oh, I'm stage 3 or stage whatever. And I'm like, honey, it's not gonna tell you. Like, because once it starts to spread, you're screwed.
Yeah. So what made you start the foundation, Tiger B?
I initially started the foundation because I felt secluded. Like, I felt like there was no one really that like looked like me or sounded like me or came from the background that I came from that had breast cancer. And like I told you, I did a lot of research, and I remember going to like Barnes and Nobles and like looking for books, and I'm like, everybody's 40, 43, or like, and like I think one book, some lady was like 36 and they consider her young. And I'm like, the issues that you have in your 40s dealing with cancer are totally different from issues that you have in your 20s.
Exactly.
Dealing with cancer. And it's like dealing with cancer, and it's like social media, and it's like dating. And it's like everything that you're coming into in your young adulthood, now you want to throw cancer on top of it. And you got to think, most people in their 40s, they have a different kind of support system.
Yes.
They might have a husband, or they have like a retired parent, or they have a 401k, or more savings, or more time that they can take off of work. I didn't have those luxuries. So it was different issues. So when I formed the foundation, it was to address those issues that younger women might have when they come into breast cancer. And as like, honestly, like humiliating as it was sometimes to be that like poster child of damn cancer, it's like, okay, I didn't get to choose it. So if this is what happened to me and this was my thing to whatever, it is what it is.
Other people that look like you. So,
yeah.
So in that process, I know that you wrote a book called October Never Ends. I have that book. That's my baby.
Love that title. Love that
Yes,
title.
I love that. Can you tell us what this book is about and what it represents for you?
Honestly, it was my release because I couldn't talk during cancer. Like I can talk about it now. And like I remember someone telling me once you could tell your story and not cry about it, then you're finally over it. And I still get emotional, so I guess I'm not. So when I was going through it and I couldn't talk, I used to write everything out. Cause like I said, you forget shit.
Yes.
And my mom gets so upset with me because after every appointment, I couldn't talk to her. So I would write shit down.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, why don't you talk to me? Because everyone wants to know what you're thinking and how you feel and what do you want to do. And it's like, yo, it's like 50 fucking people in my head talking right now and they never shut up. So I can't deal with them and you. So I used to write everything down. And I had a cousin of mine and she said, why don't you make it a book? And I'm like, yo, that would be so embarrassing for people to read how the fuck I was feeling. I'm sorry, I just keep cussing. But for people to read about how I'm feeling, like, imagine it being like your diary.
Yes.
And she was like, I get that. But she's like, somebody else needs to hear this. Or somebody else needs, she was like, everybody doesn't want to be like, you know, delicate around something like this. There's people that want to be talked to the way you talk to people. Yep. And so I'm like, okay, so I submitted to somebody because I've never written a book or know nothing about it. And I submitted to this girl for help. And she's like, it sounds like you're talking to somebody. Like you need to do it all over. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad you said that. That means it's perfect. Yeah. So I kept it and I pushed it out. And I'm like, my only goal is for it to at least help somebody or for 10 people to read it and just know how I felt. Because like I said, I couldn't get out how I was feeling. Yeah. So that's how the book kind of came about. And I named it October Never Ends because I got diagnosed September 16th, 2011. And I got my mastectomy in October of all months. So it was like in October, oh my God, like everybody was coming because it was cute and it was fun. So everybody's bringing me pink shit and pink flowers and pink, all this pink shit that I could do nothing with. But I got bills. I got to go to like all these appointments and stuff. So it's like, yeah, this pink stuff is fun, but I can't do nothing with this. Yeah. But then November came around, some people trickle off. December come around, oh, y'all got other stuff to do. So it was like, well, damn, y'all was real cute in October. Right. But yeah, it's still October.
I'm really happy that you wrote that book because even coming from a person who isn't dealing with it, it helped me understand what you go through and how to deal with other people that I know is going through it. And you know me, I recommended your book to numerous of people. And I will still do that. Yes, definitely. You can borrow mine if you have to, or go get yours on Amazon.
I'm gonna buy my copy.
But I feel like it was necessary to the point where you helped a lot of people understand what they were going through. Like in a sense of some people, like the friend that I talked to, she probably didn't know how to explain what she was going through to somebody like me or like your mom or her, you know what I'm saying? And after hearing what you had to say and how you expressed yourself, it helped her say, okay, I know how to put it into words now. I know how to deal with it now. I know how to say what I'm feeling without maybe getting so emotional about it, or how to deal with their emotions. It helped them see it. And I feel like your book really did that for a lot of people that I know. So I appreciate your book. I still recommend it if you want to cry about it, but
it's okay.
But you know, it did a lot.
No, it did a lot for me, and I didn't even think like in writing it would be that much. But it, like I said, it was a release because you have so much shit going on at the time, and so many people have pushed their agendas on you and how you should deal with it, what you should say. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. That sounded this way. It's like, tell your story then. Right. Like, you don't get to tell mine because this happened to me, and it's a lot. Yeah. And nobody tells you how to with it. And it's like, you don't want to go around playing the cancer card because you can get a lot of sympathy for it, but that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for people to just understand it and move on,
Right.
or go help somebody else with it.
Yeah.
But nobody ever tells you how to really deal with cancer.
And I think everybody deals with it differently.
Differently.
So, yeah, you know, you can't.
And you're going to. But the thing is, and I even had a lot of people reading that they weren't even dealing with cancer or know anyone with cancer, but it just helped them deal with other stuff. Because I'm like, cancer was just my jizz.
Yeah.
Everybody else is gonna have that, like how Jalissa said, her divorce or whatever, or I know you've had a lot of loss in your family.
Yeah.
So everyone's gonna have their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get to pick and choose your thing. You only get to choose how the hell you deal with that thing.
Yes.
That, because everyone looks at me like, oh, you dealt with cancer so well. Yeah, I did, but guess what? I might have a divorce and fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's all in how you take
Very
whatever happens.
Very true.
That's very true, because
Very, very true.
the person,
Very, very true.
you know, the person.
Now, my thing is,
Oh, go ahead.
what pushed you? Like, what was your will to fight this? Like, what made you? I'm sorry, my daughter in the background. My dad ain't got no behavior. What you that push to fight? You know, to say, I'm gonna live. I'm gonna survive this. This is not going to defeat me. Like, is it spirituality? Is it God? Is it just your will to survive? Is it like your mom, your dad, or
Mhm.
you know, what was that driving force to make you say that you're going to be cancer and you're going to live a good life and you're going to be, you know, this bomb ass woman that you are? What was your drive? What?
All right now.
It was a lot of things, honestly, I think, because to be real with you, I'm not religious. I believe in whatever you want to call it, where I believe in the spirit, the energy, whatever.
Mhm.
But and that's kind of what helped me just accept it. And I think when people would be like, oh, but you're so young, or oh, but this, or you don't look, it's like, what in the hell makes you so special that you feel like this can't happen to you or shouldn't happen to you? And honestly, I just feel like that's a selfish mentality.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking that if I were just to sit there and wallow or be upset or be pissed about it, it's like, who the hell am I to think that every day that I have is supposed to be some great, fabulous, glitter-filled fucking day? It doesn't work like that. So it's like, okay, after I went through all of those emotions, all the negative ones, I'll say, but necessary,
Yes.
it was like, okay, now it's time to do something else. Okay, like, yeah, the day sucks, but if you force yourself to smile or force yourself to focus on something else, it's like, okay, I hate this chemo center, but you know what, the lady at the front desk real cool. I like her.
Mhm.
Or you know what, I'm gonna play my favorite song all damn day. I like that song. You have to insert something in the shitty days
Yes.
to make it not so bad. And so I think that part of it kind of kept me going, because I'm like, there has to be something else at the back end of this,
Mhm.
to where if I can get through this and I get there, I'm good. Now, if I sit here in this,
Mhm.
I'm doomed for it. And to
Right.
me, I think that's what depression is. It's like, you're gonna have that thing your thing, like you said, Jalissa, your divorce. Now, if you sat there in that initial part of your divorce and just wallowed in it and stayed there, you're scarred. Now, if you find anything, and to me, it's not about looking outside, because those outside things are always gonna change. I had to find shit in me to be like, okay, I'm gonna make this good. Let me find stuff in me to motivate myself.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay. I love that.
Mhm.
I hope I answered the question.
I love that.
And honestly, at the same
No,
time,
that's right.
my brother just had twins, so I had nieces, and I'm like I said, I didn't have kids. I don't have very many siblings, and I have a lot of aunts, but I always remember growing up not being close to them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Not having one that I could call on and talk to, and I didn't only grew up with my immediate family. So I always wanted to be something to them that my aunts were never to me.
Right.
So that was a big push. And honestly, since they were babies at the time that I got my mastectomy, they were the only people in the world that could be around me and didn't talk about cancer. They didn't know about cancer. They didn't know I was sick, and they didn't treat me like that.
Right.
So that was a big part of it.
That was your piece. That was your piece.
I didn't want them to hear about me. I wanted them to be able to know me.
Know you. Oh my gosh. That's beautiful.
Very, very beautiful.
So I want you to give a message to a woman right now. What message would you have for a young lady right now, like Jalissa said, that is really going through just finding out that she has breast cancer? She doesn't know what stage she is. She probably got diagnosed before, not diagnosed at all. She feels a lump in her breast right now. What do you say to her right now?
I say to her, process. Yeah, you have to process because when you try to take too much on and you just react,
Mm-hmm.
you never get the best result because you didn't think it through. So give yourself that time and that space to process whatever you need to process. Um, do your research, be your own advocate. No doctor knows you better than you know yourself in the same body that you've had since birth.
Right.
No one around you knows what's best for you. Follow your intuition, your gut, your instinct is not something that's fictional. So roll with it.
Right.
Allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to be hurt, allow yourself to be disappointed, but allow yourself to know that there's something better that's going to be on the opposite end.
Okay. And if someone wanted to ask you a question or get in contact with your foundation, how would they do that?
I'm not active with the foundation right now because the foundation is something I did literally like immediately following all of my treatments because I almost felt indebted that I was meeting all of these people
Mm-hmm.
that like were reaching out to me and thought that like I dealt with it well and actually wanted my advice. And I've never been one like to really talk about myself, so it was like shocking to me that
Mm-hmm.
people wanted to hear what I had to say.
Okay.
So um
If they
I
could,
felt like I felt like I kind of owed the universe to kind of do the foundation and give something back because I don't know if you remember, was it Miss Brenda's sister
yes,
that passed away?
yes,
And I was helping her. It was her second round with cancer, and she heard about me through Miss Brenda and wanted to use the cold caps because she didn't want her kids to know she was doing it again.
yes,
So I'm sorry I went off a tangent, but when the cold caps were working and she ended up passing. And I remember going to Miss Brenda's desk and I asked about her like I usually did, and she told me, and I had never met the lady a day in my life, but it took so much out of me because I felt like it was unfair. Because
yes,
I'm like, here I am with no kids, no husband, and like, granted, I love my life. Don't get me wrong, but I would have given her a couple of days to be with her kids if I could have.
yes.
So
It's okay. It's okay. Trust me. Go, like you said, go through the emotion. Go through it.
so because I know everyone's here for their reason and purpose and all that jazz, but to be real, sometimes shit just doesn't seem fair because it's like those kids will always be waiting for their mom to come home.
Yeah.
So I did the foundation because it was like, thank you, babe. So I did it because I know there were going to be more girls like that and more women like that don't get to come home.
Yeah.
So it kind of felt like, who the hell am I to get like a second chance and not do anything,
Right.
or to like just go on and like live like I was owed that.
Right.
So that's why I did the foundation. So, but if you do, I do still help women and reach out, but I'm at a point where I just kind of like, well, I'm just trying to live and actually
Yeah.
fulfill that part of it. So, but I still have my Instagram, which is Tiger B for BC, which is TYGA, the number 4 BC. I answer my DMs. You can email me at BritanniaBrain@Yahoo. I'll respond. If you need to talk, I talk to girls like literally still every week. I can't turn people away. I'm in Mexico talking to your ass. So it's just, to me, it's what I'm indebted to the universe. So I have no problem with it.
I agree. And I appreciate you talking and taking a time out to speak to us
Oh,
on your big.
you know, but when you said when you said when certain
Vacation you didn't take us on, but go on.
how do certain people come and go in your life or whatever. When I started working at Teen Health, you and Lachelle, I don't know why y'all was so damn nice to me, and I used to be going through it. The one day Lachelle came to my desk and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I had just did chemo. I was gonna sick. She didn't even care that she wasn't working. She sat by me the whole time, and you would come in every day and just be so bubbly and so like energetic. I'm like, what is wrong with this girl? And I'm like, I found myself like coming to work looking forward to like seeing certain people.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, as much as I hate this job, oh, Cece better be at work today. Michelle better be at work. Miss Sybil better be at her desk.
And you know,
you look for those.
Part?
You look for those little things.
Yes. And the crazy part about it is, I honestly didn't know what you were going through in the beginning.
And that's why I liked it.
I didn't know. And obviously, when I did find out, I still treated you the same. Because I feel like that's something
you still ate my snack.
I sure did. I sure came over with your snacks. Really all in your face. So I feel like, you know, it was meant. Destiny happens for a reason. We meet people for a reason. That's how I feel. So I served whatever purpose in that time in your life, and until now, I served that purpose for you.
You absolutely did.
And whoever else was there for you, like I met you for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
If you needed a giggle, you needed that bubbly feeling for that time being, I was
there.
Oh, you did. I bugged you. Oh my God.
I can't deal.
I couldn't either.
I literally
I was sitting at that desk. I was sitting at the desk and be feeling nauseous or getting hot flashes and didn't want to explain to people like how I was. And I remember one girl came up to me at work in my first week and she was like, "You got cancer, don't you? I think I saw you on Facebook." And I was so pissed because you didn't ask me how I was, what my name was, nothing. You felt you knew me through social media.
Text me her name. You better text me her name.
Yeah. It's not even. I was just like, what the heck? But you find that people get comfort in familiarity. Oh, I know her. I saw her. Oh, you know, she works with me. So it was kind of like I gravitated towards people that treated me the same. Mm-hmm. Every time we took breaks, we laughed, we joked, we kiki. Like I would sit at my desk and wait for your stupid emails. Like, ooh, what she said today. So it's like it's little things that you look for when everything else is just so tumultuous.
Yes. Man, well, this was a great one. A lot of people waited for this conversation to happen, which is weird.
I hope I delivered.
Definitely did, right, Jay? Jay, well,
yes, I did. And I actually even had friends that were like, you know, they were just like, you know, we can't wait to hear it. Yeah. Because, you know, we hear about breast cancer a lot, breast cancer month, but you don't really hear it from people or individuals who've had it. Mm-hmm. And that's what's important, is to hear it and to just know what it's like and what you don't want. Because see, here's the thing, I didn't know that. Just like hearing that generic response, that's something that you didn't really want to hear. Mm-hmm. You want to hear more like a genuine or just like empathy, you know, instead of sympathy. Yeah. So that's important. But also knowing that as soon as they found out you had cancer, they give you these generic things just to get you off their back. I didn't know they were like that. Mm-hmm. I thought you generic
were. Yes, very generic.
And so I didn't
delete.
And you know, I had a family friend that passed away from cancer recently, you know, in December. And she didn't want to go through chemo either. She wanted to do the holistic, healthy way. And, you know, it prolonged her. She found it at stage 4. Mm-hmm. And this is somebody who we grew up with, a family friend, to where she was my brother's godmother, you know, and she passed away. And it's like hearing you speak, I now understand why she felt like she might have wanted to go the holistic way, because I can only imagine them telling her, the same thing, giving her generics. And one thing is, a lot of people were mad that she wanted to go that route, and they were saying, if she would have went through the chemo, if she would have went through this, she'll still be alive. And my response to them is, we don't know that. We're not God. We don't know.
No,
Hearing you say this, it resonates.
and it's that.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, Jay.
It's funny you said that because I was going with the holistic route. But and the thing is, the doctors don't tell you all that stuff. It wasn't just, I did surgery, chemo. No, I changed my whole lifestyle from the shit that I ate, the stuff that I use on my body, in my body, deodorants, toothpaste, food. I had to change everything. And it wasn't just, let me change it while I'm doing cancer. It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah. Because
you introduce your body to so many toxins. That, to me, that's one thing with cancer is that, okay, say you get chicken pox or whatever, or you get an STD, you can point it out and say, okay, I know where I got it from, and that gives you some kind of comfort. But when you get cancer, you don't know where the hell it comes from. It's like everything feels like a trigger, or everything feels like it can have something to do with what gave you cancer. And I wanted to go holistic because I'm like, if toxins created this fuck up, let me introduce myself to things that are non-toxic.
Right.
And it was like everything was scaring me. And honestly, when I did a lawsuit for the first person that misdiagnosed me, it was a lady in the damn attorney's office that kept asking me why I didn't want to do chemo. And I said, I don't want to introduce that toxin in my body. And she said, honey, you already got the damn toxin. And I'm the poison. And I'm like, damn, she stumped me. And I said, if I can get somebody who can stump me and not make me say something back, I'll do it. And it was her.
Wow. Okay.
A total damn stranger. And so when I did it, and I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you gotta fight fire with fire. You gotta fight a poison with a poison. And I'm like, no, I still don't completely agree with the treatment plans all the time, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And like you said, with your loved one, you never know what would have happened or should have happened. And Cece, I don't know if you remember, I don't want to say his name just for his privacy, our co-worker whose mom passed from cancer.
Yes, I remember.
I don't remember, but I'll text it to you.
Okay.
But I remember going to his desk that day at work because it was something that he needed. I brought it to his desk. And I was like, where is he? And they were like, his mom died. And then on break, I don't know if you remember, they said she went the holistic route. And I fell out because I was like, that could have been me. Because that's the route that I wanted to take.
I think I know who you're talking about, but you got to text that one to me.
Light Bright. Brother Beige.
Yes. Oh, man. Wow. See?
So, and to me, that was just kind of like a wake-up call. I'm not saying I think holistic is awesome. Yes. But sometimes maybe it's done in conjunction with modern crap. Remember, we're not fighting something that's supposed to be here. I don't feel like. To me, I think cancer is convenience. It comes from all these things that we're not used to. Back in the day, things didn't come in plastic; they came in glass.
Yes.
You didn't use microwave; you warmed it up in the oven, or you threw them leftovers out.
Very true.
Like it's a lot of do now that we didn't do back in the day. Our parents didn't do back in the day. And you can look at the cancer rates from the United States to other countries, even the death rate from cancer, and see something ain't right. So I don't want to say the cookie cutter answer. I'll pray for your healing and the loss of your loved one, Jalissa. And I pray for the acceptance of the people around her to know she took the path that was right for her, and it has nothing to do with them.
Exactly.
Because a lot of caretakers will take your story onto theirs and feel like it's their story. And you have to protect your story with you.
Yeah, because when you were talking, it's like I was tearing up a little bit because it was like hearing you speak made me think, how did she feel? Like hearing it from you and hearing how you felt. It's like I wonder again how she felt when they must have just bombarded her with the generic stuff as well. Like do this, do that, and do this, and they must have been very cold also because for them they see it all the time, but for you they tend to forget that you did not. This is something new for you. Where cancer doctors, I'm sorry, I don't know their technical names. I'm sorry. The doctors who dealt with cancer many times, for them it's like, okay, another patient, another number,
it's
like
another number.
But for you, it's like, I'm not a flipping number. I'm a human, and The same thing goes for
Mhm.
the hospital recently. You're right. You have to be your own advocate. You do, because if you don't speak up, they will just push you and treat you like you're just another patient that's sitting in that bed or just coming into their office. So when you said your advice to be your own advocate, that is a strong and heavy, important advice.
Yeah.
And to find good providers, because my OB, my gyno, she was like, all right, you had your baby. And I'm just 31. And she's like, yeah, so your mammograms. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah. She's like, I don't play. I start when you're 30 because I want to make sure you get it out.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing you at 25, it's
That's
like,
good.
whoa.
Good.
That's really good.
You got a good one.
Mm-hmm. What's their number?
You got a good one. Trust me. Because the OB that I left her.
Yeah, Dr. Babu, that's my girl. POP, hold it down. She's really good with that mammogram because
You better keep
catching it.
I'm telling you, the OB that I had at that, I mean, the gyno that I had, the gyno that I had at that time, I told her about the milkshake. And actually, you know, they do your little fill or whatever on your annual.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for her to fill the lump because it was after I already went to the breast center. And I was waiting for her to fill it. And she, okay, you're good. I said, you want to do that again? I said, you didn't fill this? She goes, oh. And then as soon as I left, at the time I was on birth control. And as soon as I walked out of there and went to the front desk to fill my script, and the girl at the front desk was like, I don't want to give it to you. And I said, it ain't your place. You don't tell me what to, and I left without it, but I was pissed. And I'm glad she didn't give it to me. Because my breast cancer was hormone based. And a lot of women don't know birth control had a lot to do with strokes with us and breast cancer.
I just stopped birth control. Not to get pregnant, y'all. So just make sure y'all understand that. But I have to let that know. It's hormonal. Like I'm gonna be honest. I had a few yeast infections, and my pH balance be off when when I stopped it. I was like, why do I feel so much better? Like my hormonal balance was like.
Since we all confessing.
I'm confessing tonight, Lord. Let me stop drinking.
Let me tell you. I don't want to put
your feet happens, whatever.
Right.
But that's another thing. People put so many stigmas on certain diseases. Like, I don't know anybody who ever died from good health. Your ass gonna get sick one time or another, and you don't know what it's gonna be or how it's gonna be. Nobody acts to get sick.
Right.
Treat people how you would want to treat it if a doctor sat down and told you got cancer, or you got AIDS, or you got herpes, or had a stroke or something.
Mm-mm.
Everyone always has this like preconditioned like notion of how to look at you and how to treat you when you have a certain disease. And who the hell died from good health?
Right. I care about my health, and once I didn't do a big research on it, but I did, somewhat of a research to know that, all right, it's time for me to stop this. I stopped birth control.
The birth control is no joke. I will not let the birth control is no joke.
His pull-out game got to be strong now.
Yeah, but shoot,
because I tried that thing, that 5-year thing. I put in some.
Honestly, that'll make age too.
Yeah, even Bear. Let's say Bear.
Yeah.
But even Bear is not good, to us and our hormones and our pH balance.
No, it's not. If you have chronic yeast infections, like
how do we get here?
Because it's all part of the body. Women's bodies are intricate here. It got to be intricate.
It really is.
The least amount of things, the carbogen is beautiful because it's self-clean, but it also can be thrown off easily. And that's something that I think me as a mother of a daughter, I feel like I can teach you these things because I was thrown off by learning these things. Like, it does all what? It does this.
Right.
It's not doing this.
Yep.
And it's an amazing organ. It is amazing. It produces a lot of stuff. However, homegirl down there, and might not get along 85% of some months, And so it's like, it's important. And you know what? I can see that because I put an IUD in, newly single, trying to live our best life.
Mhm.
And then like a week after, I was like, oh, no, something ain't going right down there. My
Mhm.
periods are so regular that I found out I was pregnant 3 days after I missed periods. I just knew. It didn't come on this day. I know I was pregnant automatically. So with the IUD, I was like, nope, I know I'm pregnant. It has to come out now because it's messing me up already.
Yeah.
So you're very right. You gotta look into that. Look into their contraceptives.
I stopped it.
Yeah. Good.
There's
I'm
a
glad
lot
you
of stuff
did.
that's
Right.
messing up our bodies.
I think,
you don't
I think
know
that
what's
was when we
causing
celebrate.
what. That's the
Mhm.
scary part.
There's too many variables.
Yeah.
The food we eat is already a
people
setup.
I'm sorry. I do apologize for the inconvenience.
Mhm.
We tired.
But I can't with you.
I will say this. Hearing your story, I didn't know you personally until now, but I heard your story and I heard we talk about you in your foundation and like your gatherings, and I was
wow,
gosh,
to CC?
Oh yeah, I probably seen other people. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you're very well known, and the posters with the boxing gloves that are pink, like trust me, very well known.
You're very known to a lot of people.
Very known.
There's people I didn't even know that knew you that reached out to me. They really wanted to hear this podcast tonight.
I get that, and it's so like I'm usually so private, and so it's still like kind of like, but it is what it is. You don't get asked in the position you get asked to.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's a lot of people. Messages. I was like, oh my gosh, y'all! I didn't even know y'all knew her. What y'all hit me up for? How y'all? Shoot.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, same. I'm telling you, and I was like excited, and I'm very much happy we had this conversation. Satan tried to block it, but that was blocked to hell. Because hearing just the fact that you were 25, you're willing to survive, being wrongfully diagnosed in the beginning, getting a second opinion, all these things, just like, wow, you really have to be your own doctor with the guidance of God. I'm religious, I'm Christian, so I would say for me, God. But you could, with the guidance of your higher power, we believe, but yourself also. And hearing you speak about it and that you overcame it is like, wow, there's hope and there is belief and there is strength. I
don't want to discourage someone who is, religious or take that out of it, because listen, I'm grateful. I thank God every day that I'm here. But my thing is, if God is in you, as it should be, you should be able to radiate that. You should be able to find that strength.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't want to take of it because I know a lot of people how they feel about that, and I respect that. So
yeah, I think it's more of a spiritual thing. I understand.
So what are your next steps now, other than you being in Mexico and leaving us behind?
Right.
Like, where do you see yourself, my girl, in the next 2 or 3 years past this COVID situation? What is your next big thing? You done beat cancer's booty. You are moving forward. You are, beautiful, thriving here. And your book, I'll be buying it. And so what do you feel like is next for you in life? Don't tell us all your things. You can't know your little plans, but like a ball, like a
ballpark,
a broad, like a ballpark. Like what's next? Like nothing intricate. Going on your plans, girl. Just make them plans, do your thing.
This is Jalissa. This is her.
Yeah. Leave her alone.
Just a little bullet. A bullet point.
No, that's a good question because I honestly have no clue. I used to be so like rigid with certain things, like oh God, I gotta graduate by this date. I have to do this by this date, and if it don't happen, I'm going to make it happen. But now I'm attempting to kind of let things kind of course now a little bit more, because you really realize that you don't have that much control as you thought you did. So, and it's good to make plans, but right now, I think I made so many plans that right now I'm just kind of letting things come and go as they need to. And letting just the universe be the filter.
Yep, that's hard for me as Virgo. I get it, but
it's really, I'm a Taurus. stubborn. So stuff
Okay, Jalissa, you hear this, Jalissa? Do it, Jalissa.
Right, Jalissa, do it. Just let it
God
go.
knows, I be having like 15 lists on top of 15 lists, top of 15 lists, top of to do.
Oh, when I say
Jesus.
my list, I think right now I'm kind of just focusing on myself
Mm-hmm.
and like making myself a better girlfriend or a better daughter or a better tiger, a better whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of focusing on even if they're little things. I'm focusing on my vocabulary. I'm focusing on my posture. I'm focusing on trying to work out. I'm focusing on learning new recipes or whatever. Just finding those little things that make me feel good to add up to big things.
That's true. I'm learning the same thing actually.
So that the little things and stuff that I can't control don't bother me as much.
That's a good way to look at it now, definitely. So
I mean, this year will teach you. If it doesn't, this whole year felt like cancer.
What?
But shit just keep happening.
I don't
Yeah,
even
because I'm
like, but it feels like that.
because everything is something different. You're always getting used to something different. Like I had 7 surgeries in the span of like a year and a half. So it's like with every surgery and every appointment, you're getting disappointed, or you're getting an expectation, or you're getting let down, or you're getting new news, or you're getting bad news or good news. So you can't control that. So you just kind of control how you deal with it.
That's definitely.
So that's what I'm.
Explained 2020. You really did.
you
explained 2020.
20 cancer.
Oh my gosh.
I think 2020.
So every month was an appointment.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your Mexico time. I'm sure the rain has stopped and you want to enjoy your vacation. So we want to thank you again for joining us and
thank you
time with us and sharing your information.
I appreciate it, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and enjoy your time. Take pictures.
Anytime.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Toodles.